Hello, I'm Jennifer Witt, Director of ProjectManager.com. Well, welcome to our whiteboard session today on why not to use Microsoft Excel or Word to manage your project. So in working with many teams and my teams myself, there are many challenges that I and many teams run upon in using these tools, and I want to give my top 5 reasons why not to use these to manage your projects. So number 1 is functionality. We tend to forget the intended reason for Microsoft Excel was mathematical computations. It was a spreadsheet used for macros to crunch numbers and do calculations. And Word was for word processing and editing. But over time, as projects grew in scope and scale, people have done a beautiful job of using these tools, but it does present these challenges. So number 2 is accessibility. So as teams grow and they're remote teams and people on the teams distributed, even if teams are located in the same building, sometimes they're on different floors, they could be within different parts of the city, and now they're global. So accessibility to these, when these tools are on one's desktop or individual desktops, the accessibility to the information is just not as easy. Then there's the whole issue of version control. We've all experienced this ourselves where people are using different documents to update. Maybe you've spent a couple of hours updating information on a file, later to find out you updated the wrong version, so you have to do it all over again. And the same thing happens to our different team members too. So if there's not a place where you can easily control the versions of the documents, people at some point in time are going to be updating the incorrect version of the file. Then there are upgrades and synchronization. So there's the whole thing, Microsoft does a great job of including upgrades and enhancements to their software. So if you upgrade your version of Excel or Word to be able to use some of the most recent updates or enhancements to the software, but other people on your team don't, or maybe your vendor partners, stakeholders, or people that you're sending information, if it's not synchronized on the upgrades of the versions of the software, then you may have the latest and greatest version of the software, but the other people who are the recipients of the data can't open the files because maybe they haven't upgraded to the most recent version. So that's always frustrating. And then number 5 is the changes. So if you're using Excel or Word to manage your project, and you're using it to manage timelines and dates, it's really difficult if dates and dependencies change, which we know that occurs very frequently on projects. The timelines, date, dependencies change, so if you're managing that in Excel or Word, it's just very difficult to go update. It takes a lot of time and effort, and what generally happens is people don't go to that effort, so things begin becoming out of date on the project plan, the project documents, because people just don't want to go to the effort of making all the updates. So now the good news is now there are better ways, there are better options to manage your project. So what do we use instead? What do we use to manage our projects instead? So there are desktop applications, and now there are online applications. So the desktop applications would be something like Microsoft Project. So instead of using Microsoft Excel or Microsoft Word, it's important to use Microsoft Project instead. And so when talking with people really don't understand, if they've never used Microsoft Project, all the functionality and the ease of use that is built into the project management software, because that's what Microsoft Project was designed for. That was the intended use of Microsoft Project. So now they have all types of reports, ease of use of building a Gantt chart or schedule or different plans. So it's much easier to do. It's easier to distribute the information and share it. And then what I love most are the online applications. I'm a traveler, so I'm always out of my office or always traveling. So I like the online apps like ProjectManager.com, for instance. So I can, wherever I am, all I need is an internet browser. My team members also travel as well. They're distributed all over. So if the people have access to an internet browser, then it's easier to have access to the most recent information, the functionality, that's what it's intended for. It's intended to manage projects. All the team members have accessibility. We don't have to worry about version controls because the software does that for us. The upgrades, synchronization, it's just upgraded out on the server. People don't have to do that on their desktop. And then changes, if changes are made, it's a project management software. So all of that is done automatically. So it makes much more sense. There are better options out there, and that's why we recommend not using Excel or Word to manage your projects. So I hope you'll give these other options some try because I think you'll find it much easier for you. If you need a tool to manage your projects, then sign up for our software now at projectmanager.com.